What's up, everybody? How are you guys doing today on this beautiful Monday? So, for those of you who don't know me, it's your girl Sim, and I am back with the second episode of the series, How Do I Really Feel? Yeah. So on this episode, I want to talk about the topic of the failure of being seen. Yeah. That's a belief that I am currently working through right now. Like I told you guys before, healing is in levels. And so I've visited this topic many times before. This time around, it's not based around the physicality of things, meaning the parents. That's not what I'm working through right now. What I'm working through, for me, failure of being seen, has everything to do with I said this before, I'm not someone who cares for social media. So right now we live in a time where social media is driving things over personable relationships. I'm a more personable type of individual. However, because I am calling in my soul tribe, social media is one of the ways in which I should be doing that via spirit. So I don't be wanting to. And I made a commitment to work through that because it pushes me out of my comfort zone. I'm not afraid to speak in front of people. I never have been. I'm not afraid to share my messages. It's deeper than that for me. It's deeper than that. And so I had to ask myself, or I've been asking myself, because I got this belief to work through, I want to say a week or two ago. And I've just been slowly unpacking it, this stage of what they want me to touch on, because like I said, this part is different. So as I'm sitting with it, I woke up today for my morning routine, and Spirit led me to a video of a young lady. I don't typically watch her videos, but I'm going to, because I definitely related to the message. And what stood out for me was the term that she used. It's not that you have a failure of being seen, it's that you want to be felt. And right then and there, all my cells was alive. That's confirmation for me of a feeling that I've had, that maybe I may not have had the words to express it in that particular way. And when she said that, it just really electrified everything in me. And so I sat with that even more in my prayer room, and I said, all right, what does that mean for me, right? When I share anything, any type of interactions, any type of energy that's coming from me, whether in person or not, right? It's energy behind it. And I'm past needing to be seen. I don't give a fuck about that. I care more about being felt. And when I mean being felt, that means that if I'm sharing a message on my truth, on my authenticity, my story, right? It's my story, and it's for me to be able to look back on. But if it is going to activate and touch the soul of another, or trigger the soul of another to do the work in themselves, when I mean being felt, that means that person is not looking at my outer appearance. It's not looking at my background. It's not looking at, the way in which I am conveying the message and maybe taking and tearing apart my verbiage or what have you. They are simply taking the message for the beautiful gem that it is, that is going to activate the healing inside of them, that is going to propel them into doing their own work so that they can remove that limiting belief that they may have about themselves, because they see that somebody is honest enough to share their story. So they feel the connection, they feel the hard work, the energy, the vulnerability that is behind it. And in doing that, when I started the podcast and doing my contactless massage business and launching my spiritual product line, I did not always feel that. And so in this revamping of my life, it's a priority. It's a priority. That is what I'm looking for, to be felt, not seen. Because you can see anybody. And that's the thing. A lot of people judge people just based off of what they see. They're not connecting to that person's energy. They're not connecting to that person's journey, that person's story of what is really going on, that is a reflection of what is going on internally inside of them. And that's what I crave. I share this a lot to my friends, especially after I have been transitioning from so many connections with people that a part of me thought I would always have a connection with them, moving forward. But that's not the truth. That's not my reality anymore. And I say this a lot, that people have met me, but people don't really know me. What does that mean? That means that at a certain point in both of our journeys, our paths collided. It crossed. We met. But you don't know me. So time could have passed by, life could have happened, things could have taken place, and people are like, oh, well, I know that person. No, you met me, but you do not know me. Because if somebody was to ask you, what's one of my biggest goals, what is something that's really important to me? How do I spend my time that people, in the public would know about? You really wouldn't be able to say that, because you don't know me. You just met me. And even with sitting with that belief, I had to ask myself, how did I even get to this point? And it's because if you go back to even your childhood, there were so many ways that you acted out, and it was the most natural way. Your body, yourself knew how to express itself, but it made someone else uncomfortable, or they felt like, oh, well, it's going to make other people uncomfortable, so let's not do that. Let's not show that side. And so you shut down parts of yourself. And in doing so, you start to play a role. It's not really who you are. It's a mask of what you have now placed on yourself, because you were taught that putting your need or putting your belief over someone else's or other people, it's not going to be accepted. So it goes that deep, but if you really look at it, it's so connected to how we show up now, if you are not doing the work. And even for those of us who are doing the work, it can still show up. But what I realized in doing the work, it's not trying to get it to just not show up. It's understanding it for what it is. And that's the thing. If back then the guardians who told you it wasn't accepted, or whoever it was that told you that it wasn't accepted, if they just try to understand where is it coming from, why do you feel the need to express yourself this way, and maybe it's just a time and a place for it, instead of just a full shutdown of no, this is not going to be accepted, people would gravitate more towards speaking their truth, because I believe a lot of us have been living a life with belief systems that are not our own, and it shows in how we manifest life every day. Whether you're spiritual or not, whether you claim to be spiritual or not, you're manifesting every day. And your belief systems, your thoughts, your patterns, that is what creates it. As I have been breaking down that belief system tied to failure of being seen, for me, failure of being felt, I started to dig a little bit deeper to where that comes from for me in my childhood. And then it reminded me of a conversation that I had with a friend on the hike that I went on last week. And she was talking about how, I think it was like a test that she had did on, I'm not sure if it was her personality traits, but it touched on being an extrovert and being an introvert. And so that reminded me of how the introverted ways that I felt so comfortable with expressing myself as a child were not always accepted. If anything, it was like I was, in a lot of ways, by a particular parent, forced to act extroverted. And you know, you get tired as a child, well, I did, of fighting. Even though I would, I would definitely be defiant, but I got tired. And so I realized, like, that energy, that spark of me just doing my own fucking thing, of how I wanted to do it, that made me feel comfortable, which I didn't know I needed to go and recharge. I didn't know that I needed to reflect. I didn't know that I was observing the energy so that I can go back and dissect it. I didn't know these things as a kid, of why it was so important to me, but it wasn't always respected. It was like, no, you need to go out there and mingle, you need to go do this, you need to go do that, and I'm just like, bruh, I'm motherfucking tapped out. Like, energy about you're dead. I cannot do it. But I didn't always have a choice, and so I learned how to push through and force myself to be more extroverted in ways that I did not want to make other people happy. And so now that I am in the new chapter of how I'm showing up, I realized that my inner child was having a moment. She was having a moment because she thought that we still had to show up and be so extroverted in ways that really crushed and handicapped our introverted ways, that we needed to find balance. And so I had to do some more work and remind her that we're good. We can show up exactly how we are without fear of judgment, because as long as we're not judging ourselves, people can feel however they want to feel. That's not going to stunt shit over here. Because I understand the psyche and even where the judgment comes from. So you just have compassion for those souls, because hopefully in them judging you, right? And that was another part that touched on, that the young lady touched on in her video that Spirit sent me this morning, right? That's how I be knowing, like, when I tap into the collective energy. And I be grateful for those moments, because, yeah, I pour into a lot of people, but hell, I love the people that can pour into me. I just wish it was more of the people that I know and not just the collective energy that I have gravitated towards. But I was so here for it when she said, you know, people that will judge you, you're just triggering them, and it's all connected. And that's how I always seen it. Like, if somebody is triggered by you, it's only because it's something inside of them that actually wants what you're doing, they envy what you're doing, or they need to feel that in order for them to change their internal way of thinking, their external way of being, so that it can come into alignment. So it's all connected. It don't always feel that way, but if you look past the human experience side of it and you look at the spiritual side of it, we're all here to teach each other. So that was just a dope ass fucking message. And it just further connected and confirmed the belief system and the actual topic that I was working through, which was the failure and fear of being seen. The fear of being seen. So, yeah. I don't really know if there's any more that I want to touch. Child, Spirit is taking my words, so I guess not. There's nothing else that I want to touch on right now for episode 2. So, until we link again, love you. Bye.